My name is William Malice, low notes Malice. When I went to hell, they had to put me on bass. That was my punishment. Everyone gets a punishment, and unfortunately, mine was getting put on bass. I was in battle in Scotland, because, you know, gotta kill someone, obviously Scottish. I decided to wear a kilt that day, but everyone was wearing red and green and tartans of their family, and I ended up wearing a pink kilt because I thought it would be a cool fashion, maybe scare away some of the British. Turns out it was a very bad choice, so I went to hell for it. Fashion disaster, alright, and then they chucked me on bass. So. I guess, you know, there's a lot of guys these days who have like these basses with more than 4 strings and stuff, and they think I'm from hell. What are they trying to be, a guitarist? Like, I'm not going to compete against the devil. I'm just playing my thing, and I'm just going to keep my 4 strings, nothing fancy, and just serve the devil well. Oh, it's pretty frightening. Not like my preferred style of music. My preferred style of music is war cries. Charging into war cries, screaming, "You can take my life, but you can never take my low notes," stuff like that. People screaming, getting hit by swords and stuff. That's probably my favorite type of music. There's a really cool guy who released some new music now that is just like sampling guys screaming at war. The devil's got all this music that we have to play. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you don't die at the gig because it's so intense. It can just rupture your eardrums and then the sound can just go straight to your brain. My biggest influences, the thing that really drives me is the British monarchy. I really, really don't like those guys. Every day I live by just wanting my freedom. Musically, artistically, and also just generally. Yeah, his name's BB Wolfe. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. Doesn't really, talks back a lot. I think he was a human before he went to hell. He's got a brain and you can't just tell him what to do, he sort of talks back. I think he feeds on souls. It's a bit like that. I fought for my freedom and I thought I was doing the right thing, and it sort of happened again, didn't it? So I guess there's never freedom for the Scottish, not for William Malice. We'll be touring the US with Satan. I think a lot of people will agree with us and like our music and be able to relate to Satan there in the US. I think they'll agree with our music and like our stuff. Best thing about being William Malice, well, there's probably not a lot of good things about being William Malice at all. Which is, I guess, a good thing because you expect the same thing all the time. Next question. I had a horse I used to ride on when I used to go into battle. I was riding into battle, which is, now my battle is the stage, you know, performing. That's my battle. Every night going on the stage is battle. One night, I just turned around and half my horse was there. BB had eaten the rest of my horse. And so now I don't have a horse. It was a pretty strange thing that happened to, especially on stage. The audience was horrified. They'd never seen anything like that in their lives. Even the ones that we took their souls didn't even have a reaction like that. Another thing is, one of my ex-girlfriends was, I regret to say, the Loch Ness Monster. And it's a her, of course. People thought it was a guy in the past, but it's actually a girl. I know that much. And she decided that she'd love me again and made a big scene in front of a whole live audience. We had to kill them all so they didn't remember anything. That was very disturbing. This giant dinosaur. She is, really. Like, I'm not being insulting. She is actually a giant dinosaur. What's my soul count? Mine's about 4. I'd like to say it was 400, but it's just about 4. I try, but, you know, when people start talking to me and stuff, I realize they're a good person, and I decide not to. Don't tell them Satan this at all. They would not be happy. yeah, I take pity on them, and so there's only 4 guys, and it was in road rage incidents as well. We've been touring for about 7 centuries. It shows how bad the music industry is these days when you can tour for 7 centuries and we still haven't gotten anywhere. I think this century is our century.